All right, in this video, I'm going to put together an English lesson just kind of off the cuff. This is something that any English teacher could do, or anyone who speaks English could do, starting with the block do you. And remember, questions come down, answers go up. So we'll see how the questions are going this way, and later the answers will build up against the question. So the question begins with do you, and from there it's virtually infinite. You could say, do you do this, or do you like this, or do you go here, or do you go there? Let's see if we can build out something a bit more complex and see if a person, even if they're fairly beginner at English, see if they couldn't handle this conversation after seeing it formatted this way. So what if the question became, do you think, we'll use that. So do you think that this, or do you think that this is the case, right? Do you think that it's a good idea? And then just to give some little bit of an option here, let's make a fork in the road. So do you think it's a good idea, or do you think it's a bad idea? And then that person who's practicing this gets to practice giving their opinions and thinking about things. So we're not trying to study the language. We're trying to use the language to communicate. So I actually want to know, like, do you think, like, what do you think? Do you think it's this, or do you think it's that? All right. So do you think that it's a good idea, or it's a bad idea to do what? I'll get it formatted here in a second. Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea to, by the way, all of these little parts of speech, like if you're trying to teach a class on English grammar and you start with do you, it's a reasonable question to think, is that the verb do, or, as in I do yoga, or is it, and then the teacher has to say, oh, well, no, this is the auxiliary, and then pretty soon you're, oh man, and now I'm back to just chasing my tail around trying to, like, what I'm supposed to memorize all the, like, an auxiliary verb. Does anyone know? You're a fluent native speaker. Are you constantly thinking, well, that's an auxiliary verb? You know what I mean? No, like, it's a matter of, like, here's the blocks. Now you use the blocks where they are to basically play a song. Like, it's a keyboard in front of you. Push the buttons. So it's post analysis. It's like post language learning. Don't learn the language, just practice communicating in the language. All right. So I want to know, do you think it's a good idea, or do you think it's a bad idea to practice reading? It could be, when we started with do you, it was already infinite. Here now we're just seeing where it goes. Do you think it's a good idea to practice writing? Do you think it's a good idea to practice speaking? And do you think it's a good idea to practice listening? And the person should start thinking, I think it's a good idea to do this, or, actually, no, I think it's a bad idea to do that. And there's not necessarily any wrong answer. We just want to know, like, what's your actual opinion? Okay. Now, one of the main mantras that we have is that the answer is often in the question. So the person should get good at that judo of a question comes at you. I use the question itself to come up with my answer. All right, so the answer to this question is basically the question just in mirror image. So I can say, I think that it's a good idea to practice reading. I think that it's a good idea to practice writing. I think it's a good idea to practice listening. I think it's a good idea to practice speaking. Some might say, I think it's a bad idea to practice speaking, because then you start to learn bad habits, right? I would say I think it's a good idea to practice speaking. But anyway, that's basically the whole lesson. And now I could ask you 20 questions, or however many questions are on here. Maybe 4. No, 8? I don't know. But it's mathematics. It's like it multiplies, All right, so question for you, English learner. Do you think that it's a good idea to practice reading? If so, say, yes, I think that it's a good idea to practice reading, right? And so on and so forth. It's an English lesson. If there's a language that you want to see done this way, or a grammar point, especially in Spanish, Portuguese, or Arabic, but you could suggest any language, feel free to leave that in a comment, and we can do more LinguaBlox style lessons.